Okay, so we've built our login and sign up screen now. In this video, we're going to create the user list that the user will see when they log in. So it should be a fairly quick one. We'll start with a new activity to allow us to show the user list. So new activity and empty activity. We'll call this user list activity. And we'll just add a simple list view to it. There we go. And we'll make it full width. And we'll call it user list view. Okay. Then we'll set up our list view. Call it user list view. It's going to be a list view from find view by ID resources.id.user list view. And then we'll have our users array list, which I'll set up here. So it's going to be an array list of strings called users. There we go. And we'll also need our array adapter. Which we'll call array adapter. Which will be a new array adapter. And then we'll set that up down here. So array adapter is going to be a new array adapter using this as the context. And then android.r.layout.simplelist_item1 for the layout guide, and then users for the matching list array. And then we'll take user list view and we'll set the array adapter. And then we'll just add a very quick user. To make sure that everything's connected up. Now, of course, to be able to see that, we need to set up our redirect from the main activity. So let's set up a quick public void redirect if logged in. And then we'll check to see if we have a current user. And if we do, we'll set up an intent, a new intent with the application context, and we want to jump to user list activity.class. Start activity with the intent. Okay, and we want to do that when they're logged in. So redirect if logged in, when they're signed up, and also when the app is launched. Okay, so let's give that a try. We should now be jumped over to the user list activity, just a single test. In fact, while that's loading, I'll add a few extra users for us to send messages to. So let's do that here. We've already got Rob. So we'll add Kirsten. And then our user selection will have Tommy. And of course, Ralphie. Okay, back over to Android Studio. Let's just check our list view. And there we go. So that's all looking good, although we've still got the Pass Starter project as the title, so I'll just fix that. Okay. So now we'll get rid of users add test, and in fact, we'll set it to clear, just in case we've got any active users, and then we'll do a quick pass user query, which we do using pass query on pass users. I'll call it query, and this is going to be a pass user.get query. And we want to find where the username is not equal to our current user. So display everyone apart from our user. So query.where not equal to username. And we want that not to be equal to our current user. So get current user, get username. Then we'll run that in the background. So find in background with a new find callback. And then as usual, we'll check to see if E is null, and then if objects.size is greater than 0. And if it is, we'll loop through it, expecting a bunch of pass users to be returned. I'll call them each user, and it's objects that we want to loop through. And all we need to do here is add objects to the users array list. So users.add, and we want user.get username. Simple as that. And then when we've done that, we're going to take our array adapter and notify that the dataset has changed. All right, let's give it a look. We should now find that we see the 3 other users, that is Kirsten, Ralphie, and Tommy, on the user list. And there we go. So there's our user list. And while we're here, we'll set up the transition to the chat activity when the user taps on one of those users. So let's create a new activity. Just the usual empty activity, and I'll call this the chat activity. And then over in user list activity, we want to add to our list view a on item click listener. It's going to be a new adapter view on item click listener. And all we want to do is when a user clicks on one of the items, we want it to jump to the chat activity and send the username of the user that they tapped on. So of course we'll do that with an intent. So we'll create a new intent using the application context, and we want to jump to chat activity dot class. And then we want to put an extra, and we want to put the username and the value that we want to give it is going to be the username of the user that they tapped on. So users.get and then I being the row of the list view that was tapped. Then we start activity with the intent. And for now, all we'll do over in chat activity is just get the user that was tapped on. So we'll create an intent, which will be get intent. And then I'll call it active user. And this is going to be intent.get string extra. And the string we want to get is the username. And for now, we'll just log active user. Okay. So let's just try that out. We should now be able to tap on one of those users and be directed to the chat activity, and then in the logs see the username that was tapped on. And here we go. So let's give it a try. And yep, we've been redirected, and you can see we've got the username right there. Excellent. Let's just very quickly set the title of the chat activity, and I'm going to call it chat with, and then we'll add the username right there. Okay, so now we're ready to build the chat activity, which is where we'll have a list view that shows the past chat between our user and the user that they've selected. We'll do that in the next video.